Markets okay, just about flat, hanging in there around 6,070. The mid caps are doing better, and the star in trade today is Biocon. Good volumes and very good price action, as you would expect after the deal with Pfizer on the biosimilar of insulin. Stocks up 9% as we speak at 440. What does this news actually mean for Biocon? Dr. Bino Pathim Parampil of IIFL joins in now to talk about that. He tracks that very closely. Bino, morning. Thanks for joining in. How significant is this development for Biocon?
Well, Biocon has got really a wonderful deal with Pfizer. The deal implies a couple of things. First of all, it validates Biocon's biological capabilities from one of the global leaders in the pharma world. It also highlights that the big pharma is really committed to the biosimilars market. People so far are not really sure about how big the biosimilar opportunity, especially in the regulated markets, is going to play out. But the fact that Pfizer has committed such a big sum into that market actually highlights the fact that the big pharma is looking at looking at the biosimilar market really taking off and becoming a multi-billion market over the next 5 to 10 years.
How much would you need to up estimates for Biocon given this development and possibility of 200 million plus 150 million flowing in?
Right. The immediate change in estimate would be the $200 million, which would come in immediately. So we need to figure out yet from the company how they are going to recognize that accounting wise, but otherwise that money is right away coming in. The remaining 150 million of milestone payments, I would estimate that to come to the company over the next 3 to 4 years. I would think more of that would be back-ended, which would coincide with the European and US approvals of these biosimilar products. Further to that, there would be revenues from the sale of actual product to Pfizer as the sales pick up in markets, including emerging markets, Europe, US, etc., which I would think can start as early as tomorrow, because in emerging markets the products are already registered and being sold. But again, I would look at significant product revenues accruing to Biocon starting FY14 or so.
It's probably a bit while away, but how significant could be the royalty payments linked to the eventual sales of this product? Because right now we are talking about milestones and upfront payments, but there is some sales linkage payment as well. By when do you think that might kick in, and how significant could that be given the size of this biosimilar product for insulin?
Well, there is going to be certainly some sales related payments. We haven't got a clear structure of whether it will be in the form of royalties or whether it would be just a transfer pricing, because Biocon is going to manufacture the product for Pfizer. So the entire payment could be built in as a transfer pricing structure where Biocon could build in its margins into that price. But anyway, like I said, those could actually start from tomorrow onwards if Pfizer decides to start selling immediately in the emerging markets. But I wouldn't look at a very significant contribution from those payments till second half of FY13 or FY14, by when I would expect to see the European Union approval for the recombinant insulin.
What about oral insulin? When does that start kicking in now? But given that the biosimilar product is already in the market, that's another trigger waiting to happen.
Well, oral insulin is a totally different piece altogether. Biosimilar insulin is essentially a generic drug development. Compared to chemical generics, biologic generics is a much more complex process. But having said that, it is still a generic version. It is a repetition of what something has already been proven by some other company in the market. Whereas oral insulin is more like a new chemical entity in its own. So it has to go through a very detailed clinical development program, which involves multiple phases of studies and multiple trials in each phases. So I would look at it as a more long-term play. I would think that till we see more detailed phase 2 data from studies. It's too early to comment on that product, and it is very different from the biosimilar play.
Do you think Biocon has a good chance of getting re-rated now on the back of this development because of potential earning streams opening up over the next 3 to 4 years? Do you think it might even command a higher valuation plank?
Well, the stock has already done well. Certainly, if you look at the stock over the last 3 to 4 months, including the movement up today, it has already re-rated significantly and built in a lot of these upsides into the stock price. But still, fundamentally, I do remain positive on the stock. This is a major development that can throw up significant opportunities for the company, and and given that the potential, the capabilities of the company are validated, it could even throw up more surprises down the line.
Thanks, Bino, for joining in with those. Those are some stocks. And that is Biocon and what IIFL made of that deal. Move back to the market at a break. When we come back, the managements of some of the companies which have been delivering good earnings.